Hello and welcome to another episode of My and I. This is my mother, Catherine Mary Ajizinga Chipembere, and I am Masoko Chipembere Jr. And today, the subject that we really want to deal with is who are the Chipemberes? And what I mean by that is oftentimes you read about Henry Masoko Chipembere in history. You may read a speech. You may read facts in a history book. But this is his wife. This is the person that knew him most intimately. Right now, I'm really concerned about something that I read online. There is a paragraph that has been attributed to my father that says that somewhere in the early 60s, he called for the murder of 1,000 European children. The speech for which Masauko Chipembere was charged and convicted of sedition in 1961 and served jail for 2 years at Zomba prison. We have taken our country, and it is as the result of our own fight. Let no bloody mzungu fool you into believing that this self-government is the result of European generosity or of the ministers. It is not. It isn't. So for this self-government, don't thank anybody in Britain. Don't thank anybody in Europe or Zomba. Thank your own spirit of violence. Thank your own spirit of violence? That doesn't sound like Henry Masauko Chipembere. Chipembere would have said, thank your own African intelligence. Do not be deceived by this beautiful smile of ours. We are dangerous and terrible people. As we stand here, our hearts full of fury, our hearts and heads are full of blood. We feel like doing something in vengeance against what Europeans did to us. Personally, as I came out of Ghetto prison, I had a good mind to ask my friends of Malawi Congress Party that we should slaughter 1,000 Europeans here. I had a good mind to propose that we should slaughter 1,000 innocent European children in vengeance for the men who had killed our men. Have you ever heard this story about your husband saying to kill 1,000 European children?
No, I never heard it. And my husband is a Christian. There's no way he was going to think of killing someone. In fact, they had very high respect for the British, and they know it.
Okay, so even though he was fighting them, he still understood that they were human beings.
Yeah.
In his autobiography, at the end of chapter 17, called Violence and Emergency, Henry Masauko Chipembere clearly states that even the thought of violence on the scale of killing 1,000 European children would be idiotic. We were not idiots, and not people lacking in knowledge of what had gone on or was going on in the rest of Africa and the world. We knew, for instance, that no colonial revolt against the British Empire had even been successful since the American War of Independence, not even Ireland. We also had the example of the easy military defeat of our own people's pioneer revolts, from Chikuse Gomani's Angoni to John Chilembwe's, not to speak of the defeat of the Mau Mau revolt in Kenya, then in its last stages. To have thought we could hope to kill the governor and many other whites and get away with it is to reveal a lack of understanding of our intelligence, which only betrayed the shallowness and mental bankruptcy of the men who made the allegations. The idea of killing European children? That's not Chipembere. And why particularly innocent children? What are we doing? Sometimes we have to be careful with how we're dealing with history. I do believe that Malawi Lost History was right to post this because it probably was the speech given to the Nyasaland Times or whatever newspaper was available back then. And the speech was probably used to put my father in prison. But a dying empire will do anything to keep power. And we have to understand that as Malawians, as intellectuals, as thinking people. What I noticed about the article is it said to be continued, but it was put out in February of 2022, and then it was never continued. So what that means is my father has now been quoted in African sources talking about killing European children. My mother's never heard of it. I've never heard of it. No one in my family's heard of it. You won't find a single thing online about it except for that article. That doesn't mean Malawi history didn't get it from somewhere. Malawi lost history probably found that in some records by Europeans, not by Africans.